Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to share my recent experience working with two of the most popular delivery platforms, Uber Eats and DoorDash. If you've ever wondered which one is more profitable or efficient, stay tuned because I'm going to break down the numbers with real data. We'll compare the time worked, earnings, miles driven, tips, and even how much I spent on gas. So let's dive right in. I'm about to spill the tea on my Uber Eats hustle. In just 5 hours, I completed 11 deliveries and pocketed a total of $58.34. But here's the kicker. More than half of that came from tips. Now let's crunch some numbers. I covered nearly 51 miles earning an average of $1.14 per mile. Sounds great, right? Well, not so fast. Factor in gas at $2.90 per gallon, and suddenly the story changes. The Uber Eats grind is like a roller coaster, constantly receiving new orders, sometimes even doubling up from the same spot to save time. But beware of those long-distance, low-pay traps. They can eat into your profits faster than you can say delivery complete. So is it worth it? That's the $1,000,000 question, or in this case, the $58.34 question. Ever wondered if DoorDash is worth your time? Let me break it down for you. I put in 8 hours and 20 minutes, but only 4 hours were active delivery time. In those 4 hours, I completed 11 deliveries and raked in $98.50. Half of that was base pay and the other half was tips. Not bad, right? Here's where it gets interesting. I was making between $1.50 and $2 per mile, which is pretty sweet. Plus, I drove fewer miles, so I only spent about $5.22 on gas. Now, DoorDash isn't as fast-paced as some other apps, but it's more profitable per mile. Sure, there were times I had to wait for orders, but the payoff was worth it. So when comparing both platforms, here are the key differences I found. Work time. I worked 5 hours and 6 minutes on Uber Eats and completed 11 deliveries. On DoorDash, I was on the app for 8 hours and 20 minutes, but only actively delivering for 4 hours and 1 minute, completing the same 11 deliveries. Earnings, I made $58.34 on Uber Eats with $31.06 from tips. On DoorDash, I earned $98.50 with $49.50 coming from tips. Earnings per mile on Uber Eats, I earned $1.14 per mile, while on DoorDash, I made between $1.50 and $2 per mile. Tips. Overall, DoorDash users tended to give slightly higher tips than Uber Eats users. Gas costs. On Uber Eats, I spent about $5.87 on gas, while on DoorDash, I spent $5.22 since I drove fewer miles. At the end of the day, both platforms have pros and cons. Uber Eats is more dynamic with constant orders, sometimes even multiple from the same spot, but this means more miles for less pay at times. DoorDash, less dynamic, pays better per mile. Despite more waiting, I earned nearly double with DoorDash and drove fewer miles. Tips were also higher with DoorDash, boosting earnings. Gas costs were similar, but DoorDash cost me less since I drove fewer miles. So if you like being busy and don't mind driving more for less pay, Uber Eats is for you. For maximizing earnings per mile and driving less, DoorDash is better. In my case, DoorDash was more profitable. Drop your comments below and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.